Have you seen Olivier Giroud's spectacular save against Genoa? That save placed him in the Serie A Team of the Week too. Mighty impressive for a striker, right? Every so often in football games, moments of madness are bound to happen. One thing leads to another, and goalkeepers may find themselves in a spot of bother. In these moments, goalies may have to vacate the posts, and in not so rare cases, an outfield player has to take the goal-stopping mantle. In this video, we'll be looking at 10 times an outfield player had to play as a goalkeeper in a football game. Ironically, we'll start this video with the one-time replacement of a goalkeeper with an outfield player was pretty logical with Jan Koller, a Borussia Dortmund striker. We'll roll the hands of time back to 2002 in one of the biggest games in world football, the Clásico. And no, not the Spanish Clásico, the German one, the Der Klassiker. In the midst of an intense game, Jens Lehmann won the battle but lost the war in a verbal altercation to the referee and was sent off. Lehmann could not be replaced after his red card, and one of his Dortmund teammates had to pick up his slack. Enter Jan Koller, a 6'7" behemoth, the tallest on the pitch by a fair margin too. Not only was Koller the tallest on the pitch, he also spent his youth days as a goalkeeper. During Koller's 24 nostalgic minutes, he kept a clean sheet and even made some handy saves. Talk about not leaving the old days behind. Not as tall as Koller, but equally as brave to take on challenge, we have Lionheart Dani Alves. Alves became a standing goalkeeper in not the most demanding circumstances, but it was an impressive decision still. It was a pretty smooth-sailing 2018 French Cup final between PSG and Sochaux. You know how it takes a moment of irresponsibility to tilt a smooth-sailing game to a maddening one? Well, Kevin Trapp was the agent of chaos in this game. He was probably bored and wanted to spice things up after having nothing to do all game as PSG were cruising. Well, he took his footy theatrics a little too far and was issued his marching order. With 30 seconds left on the clock, Dani Alves made the fun decision to show Kevin Trapp some goalkeeping manners. Well, Dani had nothing to do in his 30-second stint between the posts, and we guess Trapp had to wait a little longer for his lessons. Dani Alves' time as a goalkeeper was pretty uneventful, but for Rio Ferdinand, it was anything but peaceful. Most of the players on our list have had pretty decent time in goal. Few shots here and there, no shots at all. It's been great for the outfielders in goal, but not for Rio though. His first action after donning the gloves was to face a penalty against Portsmouth. Kuchak, who committed the punishable offence, was sent off, and since Fergie had used up his subs for the game, Ferdinand had to stay in goal and face the penalty, which he saved? Of course he didn't. Sorry to get your hopes up, but there was no happy ending to this story. Rio did show some excellent footwork though, guessing the right way for the pen even. If you were out of goalkeepers, defenders seem like the next way to go. I mean, they're not alien to preventing goals, so they do understand the assignment a fair bit. Kyle Walker, for example, is a pretty good defender, so he should make a great goalkeeper, right? Well, yes, and he's proved himself too. When Claudio Bravo, who was Manchester City's goalkeeper in a Champions League game against Atalanta, was sent off, City had no other goalkeeper on the bench. Edison was subbed off earlier due to an injury, and Bravo had gone on to do some absolute madness. Guardiola had to pick an outfield player to replace Bravo in front of goal. Even for a master of playing players out of position, it was a new height of displacement, and he chose Kyle Walker to replace Bravo in goal. Kyle Walker did well in his new position though, making more saves than Edison and Bravo combined. How about that for a freak game though? Kyle Walker and Rio Ferdinand aren't the only English players to have a run in behind the defensive line. John Terry has too. It was a Premier League game way back in 2006. In a freak game against Reading, Petr Cech and Carlo Cudicini were both injured and Chelsea were out of goalkeepers. Like every captain fantastic, John Terry stepped up, put on his gloves and did his bit to keep the team ticking for the rest of the game. Terry did what he had to do as he prevented Reading from scoring as Chelsea coasted to another victory. But you can say that Terry had it better than Harry Kane. Yes, the legendary Harry Kane, England and Tottenham's hugest goal scorer, was made to stay between the sticks at one point. I mean, it's one thing to have defenders playing goal when the goalkeepers act recklessly, but to have a striker playing goal? A striker of Harry Kane's calibre too is a pretty baffling decision. We all know Kane is effective when he's close to goal, but not his own. After scoring a hat-trick in a Europa League game, Kane certainly felt on top of the world, and to him, in the moment, nothing was beyond him. Well, quite obviously, a goalkeeping position was certainly beyond him. The striker was called to take the gloves when Lloris got his marching orders. Minutes into his debut in goal, Harry Kane fumbled the ball into his own net from Geronimo Baral's free kick. After his calamitous time in goal, we're pretty sure Harry won't be going back there, and no manager would dare to play him in such a position ever again. Unlike Harry Kane, who lived to regret his time in goal, John O'Shea had lots of fun playing in there. In pretty similar circumstances with Harry Kane, John O'Shea had become a goalie in less stressful times, but weird nonetheless. Sometimes in football, disaster strikes when things are going smoothly. And that was the case for Manchester United, who were coasting to a 4-0 victory over Tottenham Hotspur when disaster struck and Van der Sar broke his nose. You might have forgotten the incident, but John O'Shea won't be forgetting it anytime soon. In a moment of Fergie brilliance, John O'Shea was handed the responsibility of protecting Van der Sar's clean sheet. O'Shea was calm under the bar, and during his time in goal, United did not concede any goal. After that match, O'Shea said, "I asked Edwin whether he had a clean sheet bonus when we got into the dressing room, because I want half of it." Pretty clear to say, O'Shea was doing it for the bag. You can't blame the man though. We would round off this video with perhaps the most impressive outfielder-goalkeeper replacement. The final name on our list of outfielders turned shot stoppers, and probably the most impressive, is Phil Jagielka. After Paddy Kenny had a pretty bad injury while taking a goal kick against Arsenal and had to be taken off, Jagielka stepped up to take the reins in goal. The defender did excellent, pulling off a string of great saves, especially pulling off a stunning save against Robin van Persie. After his heroic performance in front of goal, Jagielka was certainly proud of himself, and his teammates were definitely proud of him too, as they saw out the game as 1-0 winners. Which of the outfield players impressed you the most in this video? Are there more instances that we didn't include in this video? Let us know in the comments. While you do that, check out just how bad Premier League refereeing decisions can get in this video. If you want to know some players who chose football over money, click here. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. As always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.